Yeah.
It's all fall.
Oh,
Walk slow.
I don't think John's got that function open on yet.
Screen.
So sweet. My little knight shining armor. Recording has started. X.
Minus.
Mike.
Stirred everything.
You want to sit here?
No, it's over there. No, there's not.
Take that way. Be on the aisle. Just put her right out here.
Put it right here. Yeah, you can have a paper.
Through the microphone seat there.
I take three.
How's your feeling?
Big Joe's box.
Right here, give me a peanut butter meetings? Huh? Yeah, you gonna think about
Good morning, everybody. Y'all get an opportunity, please silence your phone. Notice is hereby given of a regular, notice is hereby given of a regular meeting of the Galveston County Consolidated Drainage District on April 9th, 2024 at 8 a.m. at the district's office located at 1605 Whitaker Drive, Brunswick, Texas. I'll call the meeting to order. Mr. Gibson is going to do the invocation. If you'd stand with me and do the pledge of allegiance and the pledge of Texas.
Lord, we thank you for our drainage district, those people that work in it, those people that support it. We ask you to give us the knowledge, the strength, and the resources to improve our resilience. We ask these things in thy name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the
Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Item 4, citizens' comments. Members of the public are invited to give comments at this time, lasting no longer than 3 minutes. Anybody that'd like to address us all the way in the back?
Hi, I'm Kathy Rogers from Tri-County Republican Women, and we are going to host a drainage district forum for all of the candidates. So any candidates who are here today, I would like to invite you. We're going to open the doors at 6 p.m. for kind of a meet and greet. At 7 o'clock, the forum will start, and our moderator will be Larissa Ramirez. We've got Connie and Phil Radiso, who will be helping admit questions, which we will take questions from the audience. And then we will also have Deborah Jackson be the timekeeper. So again, I invite you all to come. Friendswood Chamber of Commerce, Monday, April 22nd, which is the first day of early voting. Thanks very much.
Next.
Good morning. My name is Chris Johnson. I'm building a house over at 36 Wilderness Trail. For full disclosure, I should say that my father is running for position 1, but that's not what brings me here today. I've come with my neighbors to urge you to vote no on proposed variances that are 5A and 5B on the proposed agenda this morning. The reason for that is I came on October 10th to this board and urged the board to be consistent in applying the rules and the guidelines that are set forth in the district guidelines. The reason I came is because there is a perception in this community that if you're a homeowner, the rules must be strictly enforced. But if you're a developer, the rules can be bent or changed in order to support more homes in places that maybe they don't belong, or squeezing detention in places that it doesn't belong. So I come with our neighbors because the proposed project here that Mr. Tanos has asked this board to agree to are a change in rules to allow for a pit to be put on a single family residential lot over on Wilderness Trail at 23, property that was acquired by the city back in 2022, I think. We oppose a straight wall pit, which is against the district guidelines for obvious reasons that it's dangerous. It also is going to put fencing and signs in a single family residential subdivision, and we oppose that. We also oppose the pump detention off of this site. It's 40 acres. We came down here on my single family residential lot, which was 5.3 acres, and asked for off-site detention. We were told no. We lived with that. We respected the decision of the board. We are against off-site detention on this property. There's a reason why people believe that there's two sets of rules. And one of the things I did when I was here on October 10th is I left an open records request with this board to try to gather information about this 40-acre project that Mr. Tanos was trying to push through. I got nothing in response. Ms. Grace let me know that there were no records when I sent an email to her last week, that there were no records responsive to my request. That in fact was not true. There were records responsive to my request and I didn't get them. The city of Friendswood produced records indicating that emails about off-site detention for this project had come to this board and they were not disclosed as part of my public information response. That's unacceptable. So I'm going to tell you, if the board cares about consistency and enforcing its rules, if it cares about transparency, if it cares about the integrity of this board, it's going to vote no on 5A and 5B. Thank you for your time.
Let's speak to you after the meeting.
Sure.
I'm concerned about your statement. Next.
I'm Michael Ross. I live at 310 Woodstream Circle. I am the unknown candidate for position 1. I've lived in the district for 18 years. I've been before this board 3 separate times representing my community. And one of the reasons I'm here today is because during those meetings, the lack of transparency, the dismissiveness, and the outright hostility of the board to the community when they come and bring concerns has been disturbing. My last interaction with this board was roughly a year ago when we started bringing some concerns about our drainage canal and or the ditch work that the GCCDD was doing in our community. There was no, welcoming, let's talk about it in a public venue. It was brought back in a closed door meeting. The results were brought back out and said, here's what you guys got to eat. That's not the way to run a district. There's a reason 3 people are running for their election position today. It's not because people like me want to sit on a board or people like me want to have to get involved. It's because of the dismissive nature. It's because of the unilateral decision-making that this board, whether it's actually happening or not, that is the perception in the community. There's a reason this room is full today. It's not because everybody is interested in how drainage really works. They're interested in how this is being managed. So Dave Johnson and I consider Dave a great friend. Dave and I had a great conversation this week. We're both extremely qualified candidates for the position. I can appreciate Mr. Holland's service over the years. But at the end of the day, it's not service if you aren't talking to everybody in the community. When you're elected, you're not representing the 1,323 people that voted for you. You're representing the 30,000 or 40,000 people that are in this district. You're representing all of them. You're not representing just the small constituency that spent the time to go to the polls and vote. It's very important to have public conversations, especially about drainage. It is not one-sided. It is not everybody wants the water to flow as fast as it can to get to the next neighbor. It is a community problem. The problems that are here today were not developed or built by any developer that is coming today. Most of this occurred in 1960s, 70s, and 80s when there was unfettered development with no detention. Not really a fault of anybody. Nobody knew better. But that's the problem we're having to deal with today. We're having to design systems that are accommodating prior building and then also integrate current building. Full disclosure, I am a developer, okay? That's what I do, making my living. I make my living developing communities responsibly, working in communities, with communities. I don't get PUDs passed because I say, hey, I just want this and get the cities to agree. And PUD is a plan unit development. It's a master plan for a big community. It takes a lot of effort from a lot of people, including the community, to work those processes. So I feel like this board over the past 20 years or 18 years I've been watching it, has been a small, I don't want to call it a cabal, but a small group of people just managing the process. We've outgrown that today, unfortunately. We are a big player in that development.
Time's up.
Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate that. Thank you, everybody.
Next.
Good morning. My name is Blair Johnson. I'm Chris's wife. I am in the process of completing a home at 36 Wilderness Trail. Thank you for your time this morning. As I was trying to understand what was on the agenda today, I assure you I've done my due diligence. I'm trying to get as much information as possible to understand why this variance was requested. And what I've come to conclude is that this is being requested because things are being pushed where it just doesn't belong. Why is the board here looking at a pit to be built with security fencing and warning signs on a beautiful street with beautiful estate homes? Why is the board being asked to look at a detention plan that involves pumps and things, as I understand, are not within the confines of the rules? And what I keep coming back to is that we're looking at putting in 4-lane parkways with double turns that doesn't belong. We're looking at putting large developments with no detention on site, which doesn't belong. So we ask, you have a manual that tells you that you have established rules and regulations that must be consistently followed and that they will be enforced. And that's what we're asking here today. I have a few comments that I'd like the board to consider. I'm sure you have in deciding this issue today, but is this pit public detention? Is it private detention? When was the last time this pump detention system was used? Does it comply with section 7A7 of your manual? Is part of 23 Wilderness Trail that's being used for this pit in a flood zone? Isn't 23 Wilderness Trail a single family residential zone? Is the new neighbor at 21 Wilderness Trail next to this proposed pit aware of what's happening? This is personal to me because I was building a home and found out from a neighbor that there's an intention to put a 4-lane parkway next to my bedroom and bathroom door. So of course I'm sensitive to 21 to understand while they're building their home, if they're aware of this pit that's being proposed to be next to their brand new home. Also, we've noticed based on the agenda for Thursday at P&Z that there's a lot of projects coming down pipe. Projects above us, projects below us for development. And is the board going to be consistent with what they come to ask you for detention? And that's a huge issue because who's in between those projects? These people, all of us, the homeowners that are up against the creeks. And obviously we're concerned about that. And we're clued in and we want the information. We're going to continue to push for it. So thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Next.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Gary. I live on 31 Wilderness Trail. We moved in 2020. We were aware that our home had flooded in Harvey. It was remodeled when we purchased. We also, having 3 boys, wanted some peace and quiet in the middle of Friendswood and stay in Friendswood ISD. That was our main goal. And we've noticed that every time there's a heavy rain, the Chigger Creek that's in our backyard overflows. It flows halfway up the back of my property and I still have an acre in the back. So it's half an acre, it comes up out of its banks and half acre up my property. So that's concerning to me. Another big thing is we wanted to build a barn or metal building for our travel trailer. In order to do that, we had to go through the city. We had to get Army Corps of Engineers to do a survey. They required us to dig out 500 square feet of dirt out of our pond or the creek in order to build this building, which is nothing compared to what's going across the street from me right now. And I don't think that's fair that I had to spend $10,000 extra to get 500 square feet of dirt and the survey and everything else done when these developers are able to just not have any detention. I mean, 500 square feet out of a 3.25 acre property on the pond it's pretty big. And to spend that kind of money when we're a single family, that's not a drop in the bucket. $10,000 is not a drop in the bucket. I don't think it's fair. I don't want to get flooded out of my property. We want to stay here forever. This is what our forever home is. And it's very upsetting to know that something like this can flood out my house. We're aware we have the flood insurance. Our flood insurance has skyrocketed since we've been there. Because we know that it flooded multiple times, actually, like 2 times, I believe, since it's been built in the 70s. And I just know that this will make it a million times worse. And I don't know what to tell my kids. When it rains, I get scared. And then you're gonna do this, and that makes me that terrifies me. I don't know what to tell my kids if the water starts coming up again. We don't have a second floor. Where are we gonna put our things? Where are we gonna go? That's our life.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else who would like to talk to us?
I'll go real quick. Blake Robertson, 8 Wilderness Trail, just thank y'all for your time and your service. I know there's one constant in this world and it's change, and we appreciate, y'all being in the forefront of that. I mean, elected officials are very important to us and even appointed, and we can go into all that. But at the end of the day, we buy these lots to pass down generationally. When we go into a subdivision or you go into an acres, I mean, I got 12 acres there, and it was an investment I made, a long time ago for my family, mainly around what Friendswood's all about. School districts, the people around this community, the service that we can provide. And I think that's something that we're passing down generationally. And, Wilderness Trail is a very unique road. It's a dead end road. It's a skinny road. There's people that like to race down the road. And I think this is the start of bringing more people, down that road. And that's something that all of us are concerned with, because we invested in the future of Friendswood, and I think that is part of the integrity of the homes that we have, down that left side. And then as you get further down the right side, that's what we're all here to live for. And that's why we chose Friendswood out of all these cities that we can take our kids and let them be raised generationally. That's one reason that I picked it. I've got business in Houston, and I've got business in other parts of the state. And for me, it's very important for us to hold the integrity of that road. And Dr. Bennett and I, we go way back. And the thing is flooding is something that concerns all of us. And we think this could impact us, long term. And so for our properties that are a little bit further down, that's just something that we wanted to stay here. And obviously appreciate all y'all's time and consideration of these points. But we really need to know here. We need to really protect the integrity of that road and what it's been, and in and around the high school and the traffic and the water flow and all these things. There's parts of town that we can look at, parts of the county that we can look at to expand. And I think we ought to look at those places before we look at Wilderness Trail. And so I appreciate that.
Thank you, Blake. Is there anybody else who would like to talk to us? Move on. Item 5, discussion and action item. A, approve or deny the variance request for Wilderness Strip subdivision pump detention. The developer is requesting to use pump detention for this development. WGA Consulting Engineers. I'll make a motion to deny.
Second.
Please sit down. Thank you. Do I have a second? A motion to deny in a second. Discussion. like to say a few words. This is on the agenda to be approved. No way, shape, or form condoned by the district. We follow our guideline. Sorry y'all got excited about this. This is not the way to do this. The subdivision needs to contain its own water. And we'll make sure it does. Go ahead, Rusty.
Yeah, I mean, I met Chris a while back, like he said, when he came in for 5.3 acres in the variance, and I was, we were consistent on single family owners, and we're going to be consistent on this. At least I'm speaking myself. I was never going to approve this. So I think it's important that for y'all to come out. I like y'all coming out. Flooding is still the single most important economic devastating factor to our citizens and personal injury, like you mentioned. So I'll be denying this, and I think we should know our city and know our product and be very careful how we develop the city of Friendswood. Taxes are high and we have a good place to live. We should keep it that way. Get what you pay for, people.
Any other discussion?
I also don't think we ought to approve this. One reason is we don't have all the information associated with the project. And I'm not necessarily opposed to pumping, but a 27-foot hole in the ground is probably a little excessive. So I don't plan on supporting this.
I agree with Director Gibson. This isn't a stunt. I had to use this to try to read the drawings. There just was not enough information provided.
And I agree also. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of denying this item?
Aye.
All those opposed? Item B, approve or deny the variance request for Wilderness Trail subdivision vertical. The developer is requesting a variance to the district criteria that requires a 4-to-1 slope on embankments of a detention pond. They would like to use a vertical wall in order to reduce the footprint of the detention pond. WGA Consulting Services, I'll make a motion to deny this as well. Second. A motion and a second.
Same comments.
Same comments. Vertical wall is not a solution. It's a hazard. I agree with y'all. And we'll do our due diligence to make sure they retain the water on their job, on their development. Any other comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of the denying it?
Aye.
All those opposed, should it be unanimous? Thank you all very much. You echoed a bunch of our concerns as well. This thing's incomplete. They'll need to rework it. WGA's here. Go get them.
Yes. Yeah, I apologize for not speaking earlier. I thought that I would speak during this time, so.
I think you've got a good charge. Now you know what to do, but we're not gonna change for these requests. So good luck.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. On the consent agenda, is there anything on the minutes you guys want to approve, or the bills, or pull? Or do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second. Got a motion, a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Y'all want to stick around? We can recess a minute, let y'all back to work. Joseph, go ahead.
All right, we're continuing on the Castlewood project on the third detention pond. It's moving along good. Also on Quaker's Landing, continuing to dig there, and on Mary's Creek as well. We got the second detention pond at 2 Queens. It got hydro mulched in town before we get the slow rain, so that's a good deal. Mowing crews staying busy. Now mowing, grass is growing. And our general contractors that helping us with maintenance, they're back now and starting to help us mow and do tree trimming and stuff. The barge is completed and moved on, so They did a good job, and once we get the vegetation control El Campo in, when we spray, we'll go along with the aquatic herbicides and spray that to keep the weeds down and stuff, to protect what we cut down.
Did that end up being over $1 million?
No, I'd have to double check, but it's under that.
Really close, sir.
But it's right at 30,000 cubic yards of debris.
Yeah, I heard a councilman ask, how much tonnage. Do you have any idea? How much he pulled out of the creek?
You know, just by the cubic yards,
A bunch.
which is a lot.
And we hauled it where?
The Novus Recycling,
Okay, that's what that check was for.
yeah, they'll chip everything up and they'll make more out of it, so, and recycle it.
I have a question on the barge. How far did he get up the creek north?
All the way up to 2351.
We got all the way up there. 23.
Yeah, it's too shallow after that run.
Yes.
It's real shallow. That's a small barge though.
Anybody else got any questions
We
for
have a
Joseph?
question. A homeowner was under the impression that we were doing the Harris County side of the creek also. And just wanted to bring that question forward.
We did do some on the Harris County side, the stuff that was in the water and was obstructing the flow. So yes, we did grab that.
We had permission to do that with Harris County Flood Control. As stated previously, we've been on their side in an interlocal agreement.
And I told him that was likely the case, but I didn't know for sure. So wanted to follow up and get an answer.
Yeah, the last time the barge was here was back in 2009 after Ike. And so, you know, we'll keep our own Clear Creek, and if we need be, do another round 2 or 3, 4 years from now if need be. But to stay on top of it where it won't be so much at one time.
We did identify areas like up by Frankie Carter Park where we got a hold of Harris County Flood Control and had them come get stuff.
Yes.
We couldn't get up there to get,
That's correct.
which, it's nice to have a good working relationship with them.
Been a long time coming.
Hey, Joseph, one more thing. When I asked for the barge to get done back a couple years ago, we also mentioned the fact that years and years ago, after Claudette actually, and before that, there have been a lot of things pulled out of that creek. Did the Corps ever give us an answer? For example, I have a full-size refrigerator and 9 propane bottles that are in that creek from Harvey. Did the Corps ever give us an answer to getting stuff out of the bottom of Clear Creek?
We did on stuff that we could locate and stuff. We did get it out this time. And I know it was more wood debris than anything. And like the refrigerators and the propane tanks, we didn't get nothing like that.
I think that's something we should put the pressure on to get debris such as Volkswagen Beetles, which they pulled out back in the day, refrigerators, propane bottles, swing sets. There's lots of things probably down there that I think would be advantageous for the citizens to get out of that creek. Not just the top debris and the wood, but the things that don't disintegrate so well over time.
As I understand it, they had a side scanning radar or sonar, and they could see everything underneath.
Yeah, as much as they could, but they were having trouble with their sonar too. So they would actually, when he was out doing it, he would put his claw down and feel around and try to pick stuff up like that.
Well, it's Clear Creek. You should be able to see through the water, right?
Sometimes.
Anybody else? Kathy?
Follow up with Steve and see if he had a contact rescue Corps.
I think that's important.
Kathy?
No report.
Nothing new.
City Council liaison?
I don't have anything with the city to visit with you all about, but I do want to let everybody know that today at 11 o'clock, it will be the Clear Creek Watershed Steering Committee meeting. It will be virtual. And I just wanted to mention one of the agenda items that I put on the agenda is the interlocal agreement for the Clear Creek Watershed Steering Agreement. It is that time of year again. We will discuss if we want to continue with the committee. That's the scheduling today. And then when we meet on the first Tuesday of May, we will vote on whether or not we want to continue. And I personally hope that all of the stakeholders in the Clear Creek Watershed Steering Committee continue to participate, because over the last 7 years, and I know some others have been here for the last 20-something years, knows that since COVID and us going virtual, our participation in those meetings has quadrupled. We now have 75 people that are invited to attend and come virtually to the meeting. The mission statement is as relevant today as it was 20 years ago. Our ability to open up and visit with all of the stakeholders from Fort Bend County all the way down to Leeds City and into Clear Creek. We visit with everybody, and our ability to know what's going on all the way up and down the Clear Creek watershed, I think is imperative. And that has opened a huge dialogue, and I hope that you all, the liaison continues to come, and I hope that you all will participate. We haven't for the last 4 years received any participation monies because of all of the work that's being done with bond money and all the money that y'all are expending on the creek as well. We have just made it mainly an open forum for the ability for the stakeholders to be able to tell each other what we're doing on the creek. And in the agreement in itself is that you cannot do any harm up or down the creek to anyone below you. And I think it's a really good organization that we've got going on. My vice chair, Peggy, will be on virtual with me today. So I just like Rusty, please attend. Jim, Teresa, I know you're a liaison also. So that's what's going to be on there, along with discussions on what Harris County Flood Control is doing up north of us. And I just hope y'all attend.
Robert, I do plan to be there virtually, and I appreciate the opportunity to participate virtually.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for coming.
Looking forward to it.
Robert, can I ask you a question about the Whitcomb property? What's the progress on it?
The Whitcomb property? I really don't have anything for you.
We haven't moved anywhere?
No.
Okay, I have a question, Robert. That's a great opportunity.
It is a great opportunity, and so is Autumn Creek and Blackhawk. Those are all in the pipeline. Now Whitcomb will come almost simultaneously with the city center development, simply because that's what we're gonna have to develop the drainage for that TERS, and we're gonna have to develop the almost simultaneously with that development. And we just at City Council this last time discussed the $17 million front load for the bond money to get that developed. And again, only the owners of the properties in that TERS will be responsible for those bond dollars. It will not affect the citizens of Friendswood.
And this is taking almost 15 years and 3 different property owners.
3 different property owners. So we're watching it really closely. We cap it as we know things can go and be developed and paid for. So that's kind of how we're doing it. But Whitcomb will come almost simultaneously.
Hey, Robert, on y'all's Clear Creek watershed meetings, do y'all have a official like sign up for private citizens or somebody else who's not elected or somebody who doesn't have any standing to speak or to ask a question? Is there like an official, like here or at City Hall, an official sign up list?
No, actually, Rusty, I'm going to be tightening that up because it has gotten very large audiences and more people do want to speak. And so I had introduced in the agenda today a comment section, just like the district has. That will be on the agenda today. But this was never intended to be an open forum for the entire public to come and then question each individual stakeholder on a project that they're doing. It was always intended for the stakeholders to be able to mitigate, to coordinate, and to study, and to be able to tell each other exactly what they're doing. But I followed kind of what Larry Milliken had done when he was chair. And it's just gotten to where we have so many people that are now attending. And I know Peggy as people want to, she puts them on the email list and then they can attend, and we will certainly do that. But I am going to tighten it up so that public comment for those people who aren't stakeholders, if they want to make a comment just like these people did today, that will be available to them. And I would hate to see this gone during my watch. I want to see it continue It's important to me. I feel like that everybody has been able to communicate with each other better now than we ever have in the past. And I even mentioned that at the last city council meeting, just bragging on the district and the operation. Y'all are second to none, and y'all do a great job. And so I would just like us to be able to communicate with all the other stakeholders, whether it's Harris County Flood Control District, Galveston County Commissioners Court, and the Galveston County District, and Brazoria too. We need to know what Pearland's doing. And we have the opportunity through this community to visit with DD4, and they inform us on what they're doing. And one of the other things, we've adopted the same hydrology measurements, we've adopted the same maps. And for the first time, that wasn't the case. But now we're all kind of on the same page, and our ability to do hydrology studies and stuff and know exactly what everybody else is doing is imperative, I believe, for the whole watershed. So thank y'all, and I appreciate it.
Anybody else, any comments for Robert? Heather?
First, I'm going to introduce myself for those of you that don't know me. I am the Assistant Director over Operations for the City Engineering Department. I will be here when Hill is unavailable to be here for our updates. To start off with the Whitcomb property, the Flood Control District is working on putting together to go out for the engineer for the project. So we're in the preliminary stages still. We did receive yesterday, I know many of you have been anticipating this. We did receive yesterday the award letter for TDM and FEMA on the master drainage plan. So we are ready to move forward on that. We are waiting on the kickoff meeting with FEMA on that. Me and Hill are nudging them ever so hard to get that going. We are also working on the RFQ. So as soon as they give us the green light, we can get that published and out to go. On the Frenchman's Creek project that y'all had shown interest in, I am drafting up a interlocal agreement if y'all are still interested in that. And it should be to your legal by the end of this week for y'all to review. Avalon Section 3 underground infrastructure has been completed at the May council meeting. City council should have it presented to them. Let's see. Friendswood Trail Section 3 and 4 is nearing completion as well. As soon as they get that wrapped up, we'll send it to City council as well. And that's all I got.
Heather, thank you.
You're welcome.
And I'm glad to see you working with Hill. What's important to us on that master drainage plan is how long it takes.
Okay.
So Director Gibson asked us, working within your guidelines, would it help to move it along without losing TDM money if we worked on the engineering and get that going? So if you can get back to us on an answer on that. More imperative here is the timeline, because it's been
a while.
Yes, ma'am. And we're ready to go and ponied up the money with the city to get this going. And now we're waiting on TDM.
Yes, sir.
So not critiquing it. I'm just saying when we need something that's going to feed to other information, that's Pinnacle. Okay. And then on Frenchman's Creek, the interlocal, send it to our attorney. Can you get it to us to look at it to make sure to speed things up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir. You got it.
Anytime we pay an attorney to do something, sometimes it gets bogged down, and I'd like to just move it along quickly.
Yes, sir.
Nothing derogatory about attorneys. Thank you. Any other questions for Heather? Lake City back.
How y'all doing today? Just an update on Westland Ranch. You'll notice that the final extension of Mulholland Parkway, which is the east-west arterial in that subdivision. It's nearing completion there. They're still doing some paving out there, but I believe they got, last time I checked, they had half of it paved and utilities have been installed and whatnot. So that's coming along. They've also, and I'm talking the north half of Westland Ranch right now. Sections 8 and 9 have been approved. I don't believe there's been a lot of progress on those couple sections, but and then we've been engaging the developer in conversations about the sections 10, 11, and 12, the sequence of those, how we're gonna maintain life safety, secondary access, that kind of thing. So that those conversations are still ongoing. And then when you look at the southern portion of Westland Ranch, what they consider lakes of Westland Ranch, Magnolia Bayou Drive South is making good progress. That's the north-south collector that hits that will ultimately hit 517. They're also making progress on section 6. We call it 6A and 6B. They split that large section 6 into a couple phases, but making good progress on that. And then section 1, which is across from section 6, I believe we've approved those plans, but not much progress has been made on that. But they're catching some steam in that Westland Ranch development and developing them along.
You got any final acceptances? It looks like people are moving in, but it's hard to tell. So how the builders put blinds up, it's hard to tell whether you've got final locks over there.
So we've accepted multiple sections out there, 1, 3,
power, gas, everything.
Yeah. So as far as selling of lots, people moving in, I'm not sure what the delay is there, but we've accepted multiple sections out there.
Okay.
And then just to give you guys an update on the legacy development, you've probably noticed the missing 2 lanes on League City Parkway fronting Magnolia Creek golf course. That particular effort is getting close to done. We had to have some conversations with them about how the sidewalk is going to get reintegrated. The slopes weren't quite favorable, and it sounds like we're going to have to allow them to place a portion of that sidewalk in city property to make sure we got a safe walkway for pedestrians. But those conversations are ongoing. And then, of course, you've got the portion of League City Parkway that connects to Friendswood. Utilities have been installed. No paving has been done as of yet, but we're making progress there as well.
Any questions from Matt?
Matt, I just want to make sure Matt's our League City liaison, and these sections he's talking about are our League City portion of the district. This water is finding its way to Dixon Bypass and ultimately to Dixon Bayou. So that's what he's explaining now, just for the people in the audience that might not know what he's talking about. And yes, I see that from the air, and they're definitely making some pretty good progress out there, like you said.
Yep.
So anyway, you are still invited to the Dixon Bayou Watershed meeting to give your silver report. Just, I just want to remind you about that.
Yeah. Matter of fact,
it's coming up in a couple months. It's coming back up.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
I was going to let you know I attended the Dickinson, that committee. Was it last week?
Yes.
Yeah. So I gave a presentation then as well. So, but yeah, I'm always willing and able. So y'all let me know.
Any other questions for Matt? Regional floodplain correspondence, Peggy?
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for, now we are saying the Texas Pledge. That is absolutely wonderful. So I really appreciate that. Don't know who made the formal request, but whoever did, good idea. Dickinson Watershed Steering Committee. We had a meeting last week. Matt did give a presentation, great presentation, Matt. Very well received, very well done. Rusty is the representative, so if he has anything to report, that committee, I'll ask him to do that. Gulf Coast Protection District, as you know, we typically meet the second Wednesday of every month. For this month, we will be meeting next Wednesday. When the agenda is published, I will send you a copy as I usually do. The meeting is hybrid. If you do want to make public comments, you do have to attend in person. And they now have a permanent location in Clear Lake, 1150 Gemini. And that's where we will be meeting in the future. Harris County Flood Control District had a virtual meeting with a presentation overview of the Clear Creek federal project. I think some of you attended that. I was able to see the recording later. So if any of you want to make a comment on that, I personally thought it was a great overview and an opportunity to understand the evolution of the project.
From 1962.
Yeah, before I was born, actually, Kevin. That is not a joke. For the Clear Creek Watershed Steering Committee, I'd like to follow up just very briefly, and Robert gave an excellent overview. For those of you who are in the audience and are interested in flooding and drainage, I think most of you know that there are really multiple components to addressing flooding and drainage. One happens to be the local projects, new development within the community, but we have the other side of it, which is the regional approach. And that is equally as important and it needs to be balanced as we're going forward. So we have the Dickinson Bayou Watershed Steering Committee. We have the Clear Creek Watershed Steering Committee. Whichever one you may or may not be interested in, it is very worthwhile to take 1.5 hours of your time every other month to get caught up. And for Clear Creek Watershed Steering Committee, Robert is absolutely right. The attendance over the past couple of years has increased quite a bit. What I think is equally as impressive is we are having organizations like the Gulf Coast Protection District, GLO, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, TAMUG in Galveston, all expressing interest in being on a distribution list. Doesn't mean they attend every time, but you know what that does mean? They get our agenda. They look at the subject matter and determine whether that is something they're interested in. So for any of our Friendswood residents who may want to find another opportunity to get an overview of what's happening regionally and how we're addressing it from a flooding and drainage standpoint, certainly either or both of the watershed steering committees would be a great opportunity for you to do that. And Robert and I are always accessible to talk to you or to take your name and be sure you get on the distribution list. That concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Peggy? Board of Directors? Lisa?
Well, I listened to the Harris County Flood Control District community engagement meetings for both the federal project and the FM 1959 project, and I found them to be both very informative. I appreciated getting the history and background, and I like, again, the accessibility by having virtual meetings and recordings. So looking forward to hearing more of that.
I toured the FM 1959 detention project site last Thursday, and you wouldn't recognize it now. There is no forest there. All the trees are down, and they're starting to clear it up. And, it's a large footprint that's going to hold a lot of water for us. So it's an excellent project. I'd like to thank Joseph for his presentation he made to the city council on the progress that the drainage district has made. Thought it was he handled the technical interruption quite well. And appreciate his effort in that. And Robert, thank you for your kind comments that you made. Appreciate it. So.
Steve, Joseph, I think you got some help with your it's called fill-in help. When it went down, you had some counsel, I think Robert and Joe kind of bailed you out on that one a little bit with the technical stuff, but that was good. I think you did fine. So I know that's not good when stuff goes down right in the middle of your presentation. Thanks, the citizens for coming today. I think it's excellent. I think it's awesome that you are here. Kathy, thank you for the information on the debate on the forum by Tri-County. I continue to watch the southern part of the district and to look for opportunities for us to do more down our south drain to benefit all of Friendswood. I think that's, you already know about my public action. That's where my focus lies, along with the northern waters that we have coming in from the north. That is so important that we really don't have any account to what it's bringing to us. I've said this many times, but I like having people here to say it in front of. I think that's important for the coordination. I have a good relationship with the city manager at Pearland for a long time. City council people over there, I probably know them as well as I know you all, Robert, maybe better. And I think it's important that we all work together because Friendswood's in a pinch point. We're in an hourglass down here. We have tidal influence on our creek at the core. Strangles us with. We have different sets of rules that we play by as far as how we do things on the creek. They've changed, got more stringent through the years. I think it's imperative we have a good voice and a singular voice to speak up for Friendswood. I also think our standards couldn't be too high here. When I say know our product, I really mean that. I think we should know our product here at Friendswood. Family, faith, community, flood and drainage is dangerous. It's an economic disaster waiting to happen. It's already happened many times here since I've been a kid, 55 years. And it's important for us to know our product. And sometimes, you know what? Maybe we should be solving the problems and add to them. And that's my take on that. But again, thank you all for being here and taking part in the meeting. I really appreciate it.
Lonnie?
Well, I'll just echo what Rusty just said. Thanks to everyone that's here today and giving your input, because it does matter. It does matter when you speak up, you listen. And I think that was evident by the vote today. I am still continuing in a learning mode, more or less, with the League City Council. Being the liaison there, I'm learning people. I'm getting to know more and more council people down there and committee leaders. And plan on going back to that again this evening. Yes. To the League City Council. So I just will continue to report what I hear there, because it's a very, very important partnership that we have with League City. I'll also second what Rusty was talking about, the southern portion of our county or our city, that we are very concerned about what happens in all parts of our city. And we know that that is a collection point in the southern part. So we want to continue to work on that. Other than that, that's all I have.
Thank you, Lonnie. I'm encouraged by the people that are here to speak today. As you know, we focus on keeping flooding, reducing flooding, and improving drainage here at the district. What we've found is through interlocal agreements, our small amount of money that we bring in, we can team up with the city of Friendswood, Harris County Flood Control, Galveston County. The Corps is actually becoming somebody we can talk to. This is all progress. For us to just get on the other side of the creek, our boundary is this side of the creek, but Friendswood stretches over there to the Harris County side, and through interlocal agreements, we've accomplished great things that we haven't been able to in the past. The other focus is, since we are landlocked, it's important for us to do projects that don't involve taking people's houses down. So like the 1959 project's a real good example of vacant land being used to keep water out of Friendswood. Mud Gully, I don't know whether y'all remember this, is coming to conclusion. It's just up there north of the 1959 project. And I can remember when we turned the first shovel of dirt, and that's coming up on 17 years, and it's finally about done. And that's 3 phases of big detention ponds up there to keep water out of Friendswood. So the water's coming from the north. What we can do, partnering with Pearland. I'm encouraged to hear Rusty's got friends over there. Kevin Cole, the mayor over there. Anything we can do to keep water out of Friendswood, it's imperative we do it. So keep looking around for opportunities. We're looking every day. I'm optimistic about the progress we've made and where we're going. Other than that, that's it. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Party to the next. Good job. Since you're